All right, happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to our webinar on how to create a recession-proof side hustle. As all of you know, inflation is up this year. Life is expensive, and if you're in the Bay Area, life is really, really expensive. And so in addition to our boot camps that we hold on finding another job, we also host boot camps on how to find and discover your next side hustle. There are millions and millions, or what seem like millions of side hustles out there, and it's important for you to know what it's like to actually start a side hustle and one where you can actually make money as opposed to being a hobby. That's why we brought in Noemer Viver-Gregorian here. She is an Albert's List member and also an operations manager by day who has managed to successfully start an Amazon FBA business on her spare time, so that she can live in the Bay Area and do all the things that come with the affordability of having your own business. So she's going to spend some time talking about that today. She'll tell you in a moment how she does it, as well as how she's going to take questions for the presentation. This video is going to be recorded, so you'll find it on our YouTube channel later. We'll do a follow-up over Eventbrite and over email, so you'll be able to get that as well in case you'd like to review. All right, Noemi, over to you, and thank you for coming back.
Thank you, Albert, for the introduction. All right, so I will share my screen and we'll go over the agenda, and then I'll do a little bit introduction, more in depth about myself. And so let me just share my screen here. And like Albert said, this is a side hustle, but it's a side hustle for me. It can definitely be a full-time for other people if you want to take it there. So can somebody let me know, Albert, can you see the screen?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, my mouse disappeared, so I can't even move my own image out of the way, but you're able to see the full screen normal. Okay, so we'll do, like I said, a little introduction about myself, then we'll cover the different business models. There's many ways to sell on Amazon, many different ways that you can make money through Amazon. So we'll cover what are those different business models. Amazon arbitrage is one of those business models, the one I focus on. Different fulfillment methods, we'll cover what is that as well. The operating expenses, so what will be your expenses to run this business, that would be considered the operating ones, as well as the capital investments, which would be more like if you need equipment, but you don't really need much of that. So it's mainly the operating expenses. The business cycle, interesting. I was going to take that out, but a live sourcing example, because it does take a little bit of time. So depending on time, we might do that on how to look up a product. But I realized on the last one we did, it ended up adding more confusion than anything, because it's just trying to cram too much in barely an hour. My profit in 2022, which was my first year that I started doing arbitrage, so that you can see how quickly you can start getting income profit. And then we'll introduce the bootcamp and leave some time for Q&A. And I put this picture here, which is the UPS truck that came to where I was living at the time. I moved now, but all those boxes that you see there are things that I was sending to Amazon. I think that shipment was about 16. I've had up to 31 boxes that I've shipped at once. I like to use the medium low size. I find I maximize the amount of product and without going over the weight limit. So instead of me carrying, so this is just a tip right from the beginning, that you're going to sell a lot of volume to Amazon. So instead of taking all of those boxes to an actual UPS store, you can book a pickup for $4 through Pirate Ship, and then they come and pick everything up for you. So I found that life-changing, and I did not find that out until beginning of this year. So for a full year, I was trying to, and I had a small car, which is right there. You see it on the side, that silver one. It's a tiny Chevy Sonic. So imagine like the amount of trips I used to take to the UPS store. So that's a gold tip. Schedule a UPS pickup. let them handle all that weight and get it out of your garage or your house or wherever you're at. All right, so a little bit about me. I do have a full-time corporate W-2 job. I work at Comcast. They've got their offices over in Livermore, so I am in the Bay Area as well. And I'm a manager of business operations there in the Comcast. Don't come at me with your Xfinity issues if you have any, please. I work for the Comcast business division, so selling to businesses, and me specifically, I do business operations. So that's all the reporting, analytics, and how our reps performing, our sales reps, and all that stuff like attainment, a lot of good stuff. And of course, I do enjoy having my full-time job. First, I always say Comcast just has a great culture. I'm a huge promoter of them. But also like the benefits and all those other things that as an entrepreneur, it either costs very expensive or like it's harder to get PTO or whatnot, right? So having that full-time job gives me that security, stability. It's a good income too, not that easy to replace. So I have that. However, in 2021, in September, I separated. So I have a little girl. At the time, my oldest was 2, a little bit over 2. And I was also pregnant with my second, but I still decided to separate. And at the time, I was also not a manager. I was a senior financial analyst. So, you know, it's not a bad income, but in the Bay Area, it's very difficult, especially with one in daycare already and a second one soon, right? I was pregnant. So at maternity, it was like I had maybe another year or so to plan for that additional expense too. So I moved out and I was quite stressed out. September, October, November, December 31st of 2021, I was there sitting. It was like New Year's Eve. And I was thinking, I need to start something that I can do with some flexibility, because of course I have my girls. Like I can't just, you know, after my job every evening I work at, I don't know, a gas station or something like, or do Amazon Flex. I can't because I have my girls, and the only time I would not have them would be on the weekends, like Friday evening to like Sunday morning, right? So I'm like, I don't know, I'll try to find something that allows me to just pick the Saturdays to work or maybe Friday evening. So I made a list here of, you know, this is my notes, a screenshot of my notes, Amazon Flex, Zoom, Twitter, and I was exploring a lot of different things. And I somehow landed, even though it's not on this note, that very same day I did learn about Amazon arbitrage. So I didn't write it, I just started like researching and learning about it. And soon after I created my profile as a seller. So this is an email from January 10th, right? You see, like 10 days after I was brainstorming, I was like, I'm jumping into this, like, that's it. I'm going to try it because I found like there's little risk and I did have some savings that I was hoping to do something, right? Or start my business or a side hustle with it. So you see here the email from Amazon saying, congratulations, you're a professional seller, time to list your first item, something like this. So that was January 10th. And March of 2022, I already had 9,000 gross sales, which is a little bit crazy to think about. Of course, that's not profit. You're probably wondering, yeah, you could have 100,000 gross sales and be negative in the numbers, right? So that's why I have a section where we'll go over how much of that was profit. And it is a screenshot directly of the software, which is on our website. So there is no way to manipulate that. And I even left the link there when I took the screenshot, so you could see realistically. And also, you can see how I've had ups and downs too, right? Because so I was pregnant and I delivered May of 2022. And you can see how May and June was still okay, like 7,000 gross sales, because those are sales from a prior shipment, right? I got it out previously. But you can see July, August, September, I'm not shipping anything in May and June while I have a newborn. I'm not going to the stores and buying and doing anything. So my sales started declining until September, my maternity ended. That's when I returned to work and I was back into like my groove of things. Girl is in daycare, my lunch breaks, I can do things, or, you know, the 1 hour after work while their dad still had them, because at that time, yeah, I will like, he helped me out while there was a newborn. So there is a period where it went back up And then, so, you can see how that can alter. It's really how much you put in. The moral of the story is like how much you put in terms of time, or you ship, is how much you get out. And there's a saying that goes, feed the beast. So Amazon being the beast, you have to keep feeding it. And you can see here, when I was on it and feeding it, there was a lot of sales. When I was not on it and doing other things, obviously the sales reflected that. So this is not a side hustle of passive income. I don't think that there's many like that. Those are more like maybe investments, but it's a side hustle where the effort you put, the amount of work you put, it directly correlates what you can get out of it. So in those was like 12 months, I did 90,000 in gross sales. That was the first year. And these are just some statistics here for you to wrap your head around how large Amazon is. They did 280 billion sales just in North America in 2021. So we did a first webinar last year? I'm trying to remember. So I had this one, but I've updated it now. In 2022, they've done 316 billion. So they continue to grow as a company and in their sales. I also added source links. And then 60% of that is by third-party sellers. There's many items that Amazon sells themselves, right? They have even their own brand, like Amazon Basics or whatnot. So there is many items Amazon will sell themselves, and you can see that when you go on an Amazon listing, like when you click on a product, it'll say sold by and shipped by. Those two, there's a big difference between them, right? So the sold by, if it says Amazon, then that falls in that 40% of unit sales that they do. If it's not Amazon, then it'll say whatever the name of the shop is, which I also brought an example for the next slide. But for example, this one is like made by Fomimo. So it would say sold by Fomimo and then shipped by potentially Amazon or Fomimo themselves. So 60% of all the sales on Amazon are by third party, which would be like you and me hopping on, creating an account, and it would say sold by Noemi if I give it my name. And there's 170 million Pride customers in the USA alone. So definitely it's a huge customer base that you get access to when you sell on Amazon. You're not doing any of the marketing. You're not doing any of the lead generation or anything of that. It's just you list your product and Amazon takes care of the rest. And they have such a big customer base that it sells itself, truly. The key is just finding the product to sell. That's really what you're focused on, is finding, what do I sell? After you find a good profitable product, it's easy after that. So let's go over the business models that they have. There's private label, which is the example I've got here. This is a mini label maker. It works like it has an app on the phone, you create the label, and then this little machine, I didn't even open it yet, but this little machine creates a label. And so this is private label. Somebody decided to probably partner with a factory, I'm going to guess in China, and create this. They developed a brand, the packaging. Private label is very time consuming because you have to take care of every step, right? You have to get your different quotes from different manufacturers. You have to develop the design. They kept it quite simple on this one, but the design, the brand, you also have to register that brand. And to register the brand with Amazon, you first have to trademark it. So that's a whole other, it's expensive to trademark, it's time consuming. Once you get that brand registry, then you can, and your product, ship it into the US, quality control, all those different things. And then finally, ship it into Amazon. And promote and sponsor your own listing, because at the beginning, if you put a new item on Amazon, if I type on Amazon mini label maker, there's probably so many pages, right? But you likely don't even go into page 2, kind of like Google search results, and like making a website, you have to optimize that. Same with that. If you have a private label product, you launch it, you probably have to do a lot of ads and sponsor at first to get it to rank to first page to start getting organic sales. So it's a great avenue. I'm not putting that one down. It is great, but it's also more risk and more time consuming. Now, the pros of that is that it's your own product, it's your own listing, right? Nobody else can sell that product because it's your own private one. So there is no other competition once you get it ranking and selling. It's a great avenue. It's just more complex for beginners if you've never sold on Amazon or done e-commerce in general. But definitely keep it in your head for like, well, maybe Amazon arbitrage goes good. I can start my own private label eventually if you're curious about that. It's fun. Then we've got arbitrage, which is what I do. And so arbitrage is very simple. It's simply buying a product in one market and reselling it in another one for a profit. So what does that mean? It would be like me going to, I have here a face thing. So it'd be like me going to Target, which is where I got this CeraVe, or whatever you pronounce it, hydrating hyaluronic acid serum. And let's say it costs $15 at Target, but then I look on Amazon and there's tools for that. There's software. This is not just, I go, so let's go to the example. I go on Amazon and I see, oh, wow, it sells for 20. That's potentially $5 difference. That's potentially $5 profit. Not quite. Because there's, of course, the Amazon selling fees, your cost to ship to Amazon, all those other things that in the bootcamp we do go over more in detail, how to calculate and how to know if an item is profitable. It's also not just about profit, but it's about how much does it even sell, right? I don't want to ship to Amazon an item that's going to sell 5 a month. Like that's not enough high turnover for me. I want items that I can ship 50 to 100 in a month and know that within 2-3 months, they'll all clear so I can like replenish them. So they have to be selling quite often too. And that's all. There's tools for that. There's software, it's visible and it's accurate. Like it's a business model that it's pretty set already. So that's arbitrage. You go to a store like Target, like Walmart, Sephora, and look at the items there and try to find profit by reselling them on Amazon. And if it is, you then purchase it, send it to Amazon and sell there. The pros is very low risk because the listing is already created, the product is already done, the branding is done. All you're doing is just buying it at the store and shipping it to Amazon. So low initial funds that you need. You can start as low as with little items as you need. The con of that is that on that listing, unless it's the brand themselves selling it, in which case no other third party would be selling it, right? If it says sold by CeraVe, well, that's it. Like, why would anybody else, that CeraVe would protect their listing and be like, no, they will send you like a cease and desist letter. Like, no, we're selling this item ourselves. We don't want any other sellers. But not every brand is on Amazon selling their own brands. So when they're not, sellers like you and I can jump on the listing, but that's the con too, right? It's like, if I found this item profitable and I'm selling it, there's already a listing there. There's likely a few other sellers, also third-party sellers selling this item as well. But we just went over how big Amazon is. That's fine. I've had listings where I've had up to other like 20, 25 sellers, and we still all got sales because maybe I'm shipping the items here in California and they get distributed to some warehouses that are maybe like Oregon, Washington, California, Nevada, and maybe other seller is in like Midwest and somebody is in like the East. So, Amazon redistributes too. They have you ship all of it to one particular, like you drop it off at UPS and then it all gets shipped to like an initial warehouse. And then from there, Amazon, they have probably such powerful tools to determine where the inventory is better placed, but they have so many warehouses, right? So they end up internally transferring to other places. So your product might end up in a warehouse in North Carolina, even though you shipped in California, or it might end up somewhere near to you. The thing is, with that many customers and that much need, that's why we then analyze how much is selling compared to the sellers and determine if it's a good sell or not. So like private label, there is some pros, there is some cons, but arbitrage is a lot more beginner friendly and you don't need much funds to get started. And even if you make a mistake, right, like you thought this would be profitable, you ship it in and then realize, oh, well, I only made 50 cents out of that. That wasn't really worth it. Well, what did you lose? Maybe you tried. I always recommend start with like a batch of 4 or 6 when you find a profitable item, even if you think it's really good, just that you're testing it, make sure you didn't actually skip a step or something or make a mistake. And then you can start buying larger quantities of that item. So, if you make a mistake, you lose, well, maybe 50, 70. It's not like you open a restaurant, brick and mortar store or retail store and then fail and now you're thousands in debt or needed a business loan or anything like that. You don't need none of that. Then there is wholesale, which is like arbitrage, but very large scale. So let's say like I really found this product is profitable. I go directly to Seravi, I make a partnership with them and I tell them, hey, I'll buy your products wholesale. Like you'll give me a different, probably like the same rate they give Target. I'm not sure entirely how it works as I haven't done it, but you're basically buying pallets of that product, thousands. We're not talking like 50 to 100, whatever. You're doing pallets. And you do need a setup that can support pallets because you cannot ship wholesale to Amazon in just those boxes that I'm shipping in from, like Home Depot or Lowe's. You need pallets. So I just can't do wholesale, but there's another method that people do too, buy in thousands and shipping that in. And then there is drop shipping. To put an X because I don't recommend it because it's very tricky. There's a lot of fine print on how to do it right. And if you get it wrong, Amazon will deactivate your account if you do something that you're not supposed to do. Drop shipping is essentially, I hope I can explain it good. Like let's say I found an item at Walmart that is profitable, but instead of me going to Walmart and buying it and shipping it to Amazon, I just claim like I have the product on Amazon. And then when I get a purchase, I then purchase it from Walmart and have Walmart directly ship it. So it's like drop ship to the customer. So that item might arrive to the customer in a Walmart box, even though they bought it on Amazon, which might create confusion. And then if they complain to Amazon, like, hey, why did you get it on a Walmart box? Guess what? Now your account is deactivated because you did something you were not supposed to do. You're not supposed to just do that way. There is some way to do drop shipping, but again, it was like complicated when I was reading into it and it just did not seem worth. I also, every sale I get, I don't want to be looking and fulfilling each individual sale. So we'll go on to the next slide, which is the fulfillment methods. And you'll see why I also avoid drop shipping altogether. There is fulfilled by merchant, which you are as the third-party seller, you are the merchant. And the short for that is FBM. So this would mean you have your products and instead of shipping it to Amazon, you just keep them at your house. And then when you get an order, but you obviously like list them on that listing, you put, I have 10 units of that item. And so when a customer purchases it, it would say like sold by Noemi, shipped by Noemi, not Amazon, right? Shipped by Noemi. So when I get that order, I would have to then pick that one item, individually package it in a way that I make sure it arrives to the customer good, print the delivery package, slip, whatever, and then go and drop that item off. That might work if you have several hours in a day to be looking and fulfilling all these orders because it's Amazon, right? People expect their things quick. You can't just sit on that item 3-4 days. If you get an order and you're doing fulfilled by merchant, it needs to go out that same day or the following day. But if you have a lot of time on your day to fulfill by merchant, that could work. The fees are a little less because Amazon charges specific sales to do the fulfillment. But to me, it's not worth all the additional, right? Time is money too. All the additional time that you're doing into fulfilling each one, all the additional boxes and supplies that you need, to me, it's not worth it. And especially if you're getting 20, 30, 50 orders a day, it just, in my case, having a full-time job, having kids, it was just, I didn't even explore that. So I do not do that. I do fulfilled by Amazon, which means I purchase all the product, come home, stick the appropriate barcodes on it. Again, this is all the process that is learned on the bootcamp, but you have to put a specific barcode on it over the original one. So buy all of that, prepare it, put it in boxes, and then have UPS pick it up. It goes to Amazon. And after that, I don't do anything. If there is a customer complaint, like they had an issue, it never arrived or arrived broken or whatnot. If it's merchant, it goes to you. If you did fulfill by Amazon, Amazon takes care of it. If there is a return, if it's merchant, again, it comes to you. But if you did fulfill by Amazon, it goes to the Amazon warehouse. So really, after I ship to Amazon, it's pretty much done. I'm just go to the store, pick up new product, keep sourcing. That's the key, is just finding profitable products. Oh, and another perk, see, good thing I added screenshots, because another perk of doing FBA is that if you get a bad rating on your seller account, is people can rate the product. That doesn't affect you as a seller, right? They can rate the product itself, like this, where did I put it? The CeraVe one. They can say this was 1 star. That doesn't affect you as a seller because they're rating the product. But they could also rate you as the seller. And so if they rate you, say like here, I got a rating for 1 star saying you shipped me the wrong thing. It was not whatever sauce, but instead it was hot sauce. Amazon automatically crossed it out because they know it was not my fault, because I do fulfill by Amazon, and they identify that that order was a fulfilled by Amazon order. So I don't get dinged for that. And that keeps my ratings really good too. And I've had several of those. See, I didn't receive the correct balance. I received 2 small drapes. I don't even sell curtains or drape, like I sell groceries. So I'm not even sure what is going on here, but this customer was able to give me a bad rating. But Amazon again crossed it out. And the beauty of it too, I don't even have to catch this. Amazon's systems identifies when it says like ship wrong, or they probably have some keywords in there that it's automatic too. I just found it crossed out already, which is really nice. It takes a lot of work out of your plate. But then when something goes good, of course, you get to keep it. Like I received this ahead of schedule. And I had nothing to do with receiving it ahead of schedule, right? That was all on Amazon. Yet I got to keep the 5-star review for doing this. Just a big thank you for your business, or this and that, like all these neat positive reviews that people give for, I mean, over here, I'm like, I'm reselling things that I found in the store for profit, but thanks, they find it, they're paying for convenience, and they know that. If you get a rating also that says, hey, I found this for like half price at the store, and they rate you bad, guess what? That also gets crossed out, because Amazon knows that obviously you're selling it to make a profit, and that you probably found it somewhere else cheaper, and that the customer is opting into convenience, and there is a price for convenience. That item shows up at the door. So, if they try to rate you bad for price, or for time of shipment, or for wrong order, that all gets crossed out. Beautiful, fulfilled by Amazon. So let's go into operating expenses. Let me just check on time. Yeah, see, it's like, no, it takes webinars a little long as is. So what do you need to get started? Well, this would be a capital expense, right? The equipment, the thermal printer. This one in particular is the gold standard. It's called a Rollo printer. They're very, very good, but they cost around $200. You can often find them on Facebook Marketplace for less. I got mine for $100 there. And they also have some off brands, like random private label ones, right, that they're selling. But the Rollo is really well known. They have great support. So thermal printer doesn't use ink, which is great because of the amount of volume of labels that you'll be printing out. And it's also incredibly quick. I've sometimes printed over like 300-400 of those little labels, and it just comes out. It's also like beautiful to listen to, right? It's just, it comes out so fast, printed already with the barcode, and it can handle those little barcodes, because all you need is these 2 type of labels. One is the little one that you see on the image for barcodes, and the other one is the 4x6 for like the shipping box, right? Like the one that would say it goes to UPS, it goes to such warehouse, like the one for the box. Then you need few supplies, like the 2 labels that we went over, tape to close up your box, some poly bags. I usually, sorry, I had it, let me get one. I have it right next to me, but it is a poly bag. If you buy groceries on Amazon, by groceries, I don't mean something that goes in the fridge. I mean like pantry type of groceries, right? So if you buy anything like that, it might have come on this, or some other items sometimes come of this. You don't have to, not every item needs a poly bag, but you'll see some would need a poly bag. So this is what it is, right? I need like self-seals, and it has to have that suffocation warning label. So they sell some that do not have a suffocation warning label. You could put a label with that warning on top. Again, that's a time-consuming step. They're not that expensive to get it with the label. So this would be a poly bag. They have a bunch of different sizes. So some of these too, and maybe some packaging material, like maybe you need bubble wrap if you're selling something that is on a, like a sauce on a glass bottle, something like this. But that's it. It's not much you need. Your printer, few labels, few packaging things related, and then the rest is all software subscriptions to really find those profitable items. Now let's go over the cost of the software. So there is Amazon Pro. That is the, like, for you to be a seller on Amazon, you need an account as a seller. They have one where it's free, but they charge you $1 for each item sold. So if you're going to sell 40 items or more a month, which is very easy to do, then you might as well go with the Amazon Pro that has some other additional perks besides, you know, being a flat rate of $40 a month. So Amazon Pro, $40 a month. Keepa. Keepa is the tool that tells you the price over time of an item. You probably notice on Amazon, sometimes the price, an item sells for 25, sometimes 23, sometimes 19, etc. It varies, right? So Keepa shows you the history of the price, and it also shows you volume, how much it sells, and ranking. How is that item ranked within its category, right? If I dislike label maker, maybe it's like number 2 in printers, or maybe it's number 1 million in printers. So it would show you like the ranking too. Then we have Inventory Lab. This is the most expensive one, $70 a month, but it pays for itself. Later in this webinar, I have screenshots, and you'll see they come from Inventory Lab. It does everything from you. It's like your bookkeeping one, is your reconciling one when you get a sale. Like, I don't have any Excel things I have to track because Inventory Lab does everything for me. It's also to list the item on Amazon. I do it through Inventory Lab. So when I purchase something, I enter there, when did I buy it? What did I pay? How many units? And print my labels out of, like, Inventory Lab will format it to be printed. It has reports like profit and loss statement, profitability by category, profitability by store, because you can put, I bought this at Target, I bought this at Walmart, right? So it is expensive. It is also very powerful tool, very comprehensive. That's a lot for this business. And then lastly, AZ labels plugin, $9 a month. This one's very silly, but somehow when I go to print the larger ones, the 4x6, which I do through Amazon, the Amazon account, when I already have my shipment ready, I want to print those and it doesn't format it right. So this tool simply formats the shipping labels correctly, which to me is such a dumb thing that Amazon, it should just be done by itself, but I couldn't figure out how. So I just pay those $9 a month to have an easy click, and then it's already all formatted, the shipping ones, not the smaller barcode ones. So that's about 130, I believe. Yeah, $140 a month. Recurring expenses that you would have to offset with your sales, right? Before you start seeing any profit. Still though, 140, it might sound like a lot, but in the grand scheme of you're starting your own business, $140 a month is like almost nothing. It's very, very little out of all the side hustles you could start. If you, of course, don't count like influencer or like that type of, you know, where you just need a camera, then yeah, of course, you probably need less than that. But for operating like a selling inventory business, this is very cheap. Now, this is a screenshot I just wanted to show you. Okay, I was just double checking because I refreshed this screenshot today and I want to make sure I didn't leave any like personal information, but you can see, so this is my inventory lab. I'm on the website there. Noemi Rivera is my account. And I'm on a reports tab on specifically the category profitability. So you can see here how many units I've sold in grocery. I focus in grocery. 94% of my revenue has been on groceries. 4,600 units sold from January 1st of 2022. Really, I shipped, my first sale was February up until now. And the profit from that category has been close to 16,000, which is a 34% return on investment. Now that profit there is, say I sold this CeraVe for 30, Amazon saying their fees were 10, so that leaves us 20. And then I paid 10 for, like, when I purchased this, say I paid another 10 for my cost of goods sold. So that would leave me 10 of profit. Sorry, I made everything like 10, 10, 10, but if it sold for 30 and Amazon took 10 and I paid 10 for the cost of goods sold, really my investment was only the initial 10, right? Amazon charged 10, but they took that from the customer when the customer paid 30. My investment was 10 and I made 10 profit, if that's making sense. I should have made the numbers difference, but so yeah, that would be, that profit you see there would be those remaining 10. It's not accounting though for the software that I'm paying every month or the supplies or all of that, but that will be on the other report that's called profit and loss statement. That one is more comprehensive and has all those other expenses, which I have a screenshot for that too. All those other expenses you can also enter on this tool. There is a way to enter all of those and track those as well, like gas, mileage, these polybags, whatever it is, you can all put it in here so that then your profit and loss statement is accurate, which you'll need for tax time too, since all of those are business deductible, right? Anything you spend on your business. Another category I just wanted to highlight really quick is toy. I've only sold, I think 2 different toys. Yeah, 22 units. I think this was comprised of just 2 different toys, but they sold really well. And look at the return on investment, that column that says ROI, almost 100%. That means that I spent $8 and I made those $8 back plus another 8. So that's a big return on investment. But I don't focus on toy. I found my comfort zone on the groceries, since I'm often at the grocery store anyways. So yeah, I end up selling those. And the refunds is also very, very low on groceries. People don't usually bother attempting to even return that. If they were though, you of course lose that merchandise, you can't resell that. But you can see 87 units out of 4,600, that's less than 2%. Moving on, this is just another screenshot. Maybe on the replay you can look at it more carefully, but just to show you that it reconciles every single sale by exact item. So that order details I blurred out, that's where it would say CeraVe, whatever. So of course I had to blur it out, but see, it would say order price 20. So somebody bought something for $26 that I paid $7. So my net profit on that item was $7 after Amazon took their share of fees, which is quite expensive. But again, I don't feel it, right? All I feel is the $7. I don't care if Amazon wants to charge me whatever they want to charge me, because I don't pay for it. The customer pays for it. I just put the $7 when I buy it, and then my net profit, Amazon ends up paying me $7.66 on that item. Now, business cycle, I've touched on this already a little bit, right? So you source your item, you find your profitable item, you prep it to Amazon standard, which might mean having to cover the original barcode or putting it in something that protects it a little bit better, ship it to the warehouse, and then just monitor sales and reprice if needed. That's a whole other topic, repricing. So that's why there is a bootcamp again. You're selling on a listing with other sellers. Sometimes the ideal scenario is everybody keeps it at the same price. If it's $14.99, it stays at $14.99. But sometimes another seller, especially new sellers, jump on and they're like, I want to get the buy box. I want to be the one that gets all the sales. So I'm going to price mine at $38. Yeah, they get all the sales, but guess what? There's software for auto repricers too. So some of those other get auto repriced to $38 before you know, and then you end up repricing yours because you're like, well, I'm not getting any sales now. before you know, everybody's at 38. So trying to like be the one that bids by better price just ends up hurting everybody in the end. So don't do that. But sometimes if needed, you do have to reprice and then rinse and repeat, find new products or just replenish the ones that you've sold out. What I like to do, and that's also covered on the bootcamp, it's find replenishable products. So products that I know I can find at the store consistently for the same price all the time. Like I'm not buying it only during sale. Some people focus on arbitrage, like on sale items. I like to do on the standard shelf price. So that way, because my time is limited, I just focus on like 10 items, 12 items that I found, and that's it. And I just ship those. When they run out, I replenish and I keep it simple. It gives me my little side hustle, right? I'm not doing it full time. If I did full time, I would be, going to the clearance aisles and finding a lot more variety of products and doing all of that. But if you're just doing a side hustle, then you find a few key items and that keeps feeding you and you just replenish when you run out. Now, this is another screenshot. It's the final one I have, I believe. And this is the profit and loss statement. So to show you, this is the actual profit. So to show you, this was my first year in business. You can see January 0, there's actually their net profit negative 400. That's probably because I bought printer, supplies. Oh, also like a storage unit, because where I was, I didn't even have space. So I rented a storage unit. So that'll I tracked there because it's business deductible. So I put there. So I was negative. And then in February, end of January, I shipped my first shipment, and February, I got my first sale. And I already was profitable in February, $100. How many businesses too you're profitable on your very first month? Like that's just, some businesses take a few years until they're profitable, some larger ones, right? But this one, you can see a return very, very quickly. And don't let like, but 3,800 gross sales. I didn't have to put 3,400, right? My cost of goods sold was 1,400, which yes, I just went big. I bought a lot of things and shipped it. And that's why my profit was also pretty big at that beginning. I was very excited. I spent a lot of time sourcing variety of products, shipped it all. So I started seeing good profit early on. As you can see, March already, $1,500 of profit. So in just like those first few months was 2,000 or 3,000 worth of clean profit. Everything's deducted there. Any supplies, anything's already deducted. As you can see, I broke down also the categories. I wanted to make sure that it's visible on the screenshot, the different categories. But the only one that you feel on your pocket is really the cost of goods sold. Don't let the other ones scare you, like selling fees, 10,000. Oh my gosh, that's so much. Yeah, but the customer pays for it. You're only doing, like I explained earlier, right? The cost of goods sold and sending it to Amazon, and then your supplies and your software. And even for the cost of goods sold, I really need to clarify there, and I'm almost done here. So don't let also the 30,000 that you see at the end scare you. Like, wow, you spent 30,000 in gross sale in like, you bought things. Yeah, I spent by the end of that year, when I saw that, I was like, why did I really just spend $30,000 on merchandise? But it's money that's recycled, if you want to think about it that way, because like maybe at most I had 4K or so gone, if that makes sense, right? Because you're buying it, you're shipping it, but then when you make profit, Amazon gave you back those 4,000 of cost of goods sold, and maybe like on those 4,000 you made another 1,000. So now you have 5,000. So it's really like, and you put back those 4,000, right? So you see every single month, the most I've sold at any time was like 4,000. So that's probably what I had to have in the business. But look at in April, right? But the prior 2 months, I had already made 1,500. So really, maybe it was like 3,000 that I had at any point out of my pocket. But you could make this even bigger if you buy even more, or conversely smaller. Maybe you just have 200 spare dollars and you want to, well, I wouldn't recommend it if you really don't, you always have emergency savings and all of that stuff. But maybe you want to start smaller, like with 500 or whatever it is to test it. So that's totally doable too. From all the research I had done and all the learning I had done early on, I was like, I know this is going to work. It seems pretty foolproof. So I just went full steam. And by the end of that year, I made 6,000 net profit. The time investment, which I've mentioned several times throughout this webinar too, time. I'm very cognizant of time because, again, I already have a full-time job. I already have two girls too that when I have them, my time is for them. It's not for this side business. Even if I wanted to, they're not going to let me. Like they're 1.5 and 4.5. Like, no. So if I do something, I need it to be paid better than my current job by hour and on my own time, and for it to be worth doing. I'm not going to do something for $15, $20 an hour at this point. So I calculated it. This was about 120 hours that I spent throughout that year, which breaks down to about 4 to 8 hours in my case a month. Early on, of course, I spent a lot more just learning, of course, but then the actual business itself took very little because, again, I focused on just replenishing, right? So I already knew at the store, I'm going to buy such product. That's 30 minutes. Enter the store, buy it, and then packaging it, maybe another hour or two, whatever it is, and then shipping it. So 4 to 8 hours, depending how big of my shipments, gets me some big product out, big volume out. That, if you break it down, was, I forget now, but it was like 60 or something like that dollars an hour when it came out, when you're trying to put like an hourly rate to it, right? Either way, it's a great way to make some extra income on the side. And like I said, you can make a lot more. I find mine is actually, what is that word? Like conservative, right? Because I'm only doing it on weekends, not even every weekend. And I still got quite a bit profit for being that first year. All right, so introducing, this is our last slide. And my mouth is so dry, I feel like I've just been like a bunch of stuff. But okay, we have a bootcamp too. If this was interesting to you and you thought, okay, well, I think I can also, have my interest, I can make some money out of it. I have some time and some savings that I could invest into that software, that thermal printer, and get started. Then we have a bootcamp that goes in a lot more detail into everything, like A to Z, right? From like setting up your account and what do you need as a sole proprietorship? Do you even need an LLC? Which you don't. But like, where do I get my EIN? Everything from like the very beginning basics to how do you find a profitable item, when to reprice, how to check on sales, all that tool, like what are the capabilities of the tools. Well, here we have a bit more thing like prepping. Yeah, different things are prepped different ways, what categories to avoid, things like that. So it's 6 weekly lessons priced at $147 for the early bird. Just a reminder, this is also business deductible. You're investing into a business. So really, if your taxes end up being around 20%, you're like saving 20% because then you're not paying taxes on this amount of money. And I was going to say something else about this. Oh yeah, and then the profit, if you remember, my very first month, I had already made like $100. So I feel like 147 is quite low for what bootcamps go for out there. And it can be paid back very quickly. And we also have a group chat, if that's helpful. And then the regular price is $60 more. So it will go up after the early bird pricing to the 207. And the bootcamps happen similarly like today during the lunch break, Fridays at noon. And they'll be recorded as well if you happen to miss any. It's not so much, if you happen to miss any, it's great. But the key why it's recorded is because you probably have to go and rewatch it and slow it down, especially when we learn how to enter the information about the product and the labels and packing, prepping, all that stuff. I think that is almost a lot. I'm gonna stop sharing and hopefully we still have some time. I definitely can stay over past 1 because I know it's already 1, but we got started a little late and there's a lot of people that joined. So I'll stop sharing and we can clarify any questions.
We have a lot of questions. So do you want to answer those or did you want me to ask them for you, Noemi?
If you can ask me questions, but I know it's recorded too, right? Because when you record, I don't think the question shows up.
Okay, so the first person asked, how do you determine which products to sell?
Yeah, that's what the bootcamp goes over. It's actually, we do a lot of examples and we do find profitable items during the bootcamp, but really, how do you determine which one is profitable? Which one should you sell? No, which one should you sell? It should mean 2 things. 1, should be profitable, and 2, it should have enough volume of sales. Like even if it's profitable, I'm going to come up with an example, right? You found yeah, this item, but it only sells once a month. To me, like it could make me $50, but I'm not gonna ship it because there's the risk of other sellers hopping on, trying to beat me on. Like one is just not enough sales. So the volume has to be high. The ranking of that item has to be high ranked. And then it has to be profitable, which it shows you Keepa would not show you if it's profitable. That one shows you a history. Inventory Lab has a section where you enter the item and you enter what you would pay. And then it then breaks it down. How much are the Amazon fees? How much profit would that make?
Awesome. This might have been shown in your numbers. One person asked, with 90K gross, what was the net after taxes and other expenses?
Yeah, there's 6K.
6K.
Oh, and that one I forgot to mention. Because remember, I also said $30,000 that was spent on merchandise. I pay everything with credit card. And then, of course, I pay off the credit card. Just key, and I want to pay interest on that. But just imagine what 30,000 running through your credit card. And you're getting all that money back because that's just cost of goods sold. That's not even the profit, right? The amount of like flights or cashback, I choose cashback. Some specific stores even give you 5% cashback if you open like a credit card with them. So you can, and that's not even in Inventory Lab. That's just, you don't even have to claim, you don't pay taxes on like cashback stuff. So I didn't even input that, which is a whole other more than 1,000 that I got back just from running the 30K through my credit card. But yeah, on that 90 gross sales, my items are not too profitable, I would say, for the price they sell. But again, it could sell for whatever it wants to sell. I'm just focused on how much profit I made for the time and money I invested.
Gotcha. Okay.
So to me, putting 3,000-4,000 out of your pocket and then getting 6,000, that's quite a good return.
What do you do if you buy a lot of inventory and then the price drops significantly on the items, making your current price ineffective and you're stuck with a high cost item?
Yeah, that's a very good question. A couple of things: you could wait it out, write it out. Sometimes some sellers, newbies, hop on and then they price it really good. They realize it's not sustainable. They stop selling that item after a couple months and then the price goes back up. Keepa would show you that because Keepa has the history, right? So if you see historically that item has maintained the price at the price that you're pricing it, then you just hold, write it out, kind of like a stock. Sometimes you just have to hold. But just like stock too, sometimes you just have to get rid of it because you're like, well, I don't think this one's recovering. I don't think this one's coming back. So it's not, I can't just say the exact answer because in that way it's kind of like stuck. You're taking that risk, but here you actually have a lot of reliable data. And in the history of Keepa, if you see already a lot of ups and downs, even if it's profitable at the app, I wouldn't buy that item, right? Because if it's already fluctuating a lot, I'm not going to take the risk. But historic, if it's stable, you hop on, it happens to come down, wait a little bit. Chances are it's just somebody that's trying to get rid of theirs. Maybe it's expiring soon. Maybe they bought too much. Maybe they need the money. So sometimes that seller just price it down, runs out, and the price goes back up.
What is the brand of thermal printer you recommend?
Rollo. It's called ROLLO. And again, check Facebook Marketplace because sometimes some small businesses stop doing what they're doing and they resell it there. But it costs otherwise $200 on Amazon.
Gotcha. Do you have an LLC or an S Corp? What about insurance?
No. You should get insurance. I've never gotten insurance still to this day, even though I sell groceries, which you think like, wow, you're opening yourself to some liability there. But I'm also like, I don't manufacture the product. I don't open the product. I'm just like buying it. And it's kind of like UPS. Like, does UPS have liability too because it goes through them? Or does Amazon because they're the ones that shipped it? Or does the manufacturer have it? So you should get insurance. Amazon actually requires it if you sell more than 10,000 gross a month or in a 30-day period. I forget if it's like 30-day period. So there is some requirement there, but yeah, I don't have it. And no LLC either. I recently created one last month. No, in August. I created my LLC, but it wasn't because of this Amazon business, for something else. For Amazon, you do not need it.
Do individuals in more rural areas have an advantage because of getting a lower cost?
I do not know. lower cost. I don't know how things are priced in a rural area, so it might be better or not.
Gotcha. How much time do you estimate you spend on this per month?
Yeah, about the 4 to 8 or 10, depending how large of a shipment or what I'm replenishing that month. But
Hmm.
what takes time is sourcing, finding the profitable product, right? Because you could be on the internet, like you went to the store, you decided I'm going to look up these 100 items. Maybe out of those 100, only 1 or 2 are profitable. Like the numbers is not that much, right? So that's what takes time. It's like when you decide to find new products, finding those profitable products. But the actual process of like when you already know the buying, prepping, and shipping is so fast and it's like so routine. It's kind of like you're a what is that, like over glorified shelf shelf, is that a job, right? The shelf,
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
you're like
Yes,
glorified
stalkers.
that all you do is like buy and
Mhm.
stock, buy and stock. So that's very predictable time. If you get it down, it's just like put label ship, very little time.
How many different grocery items do you sell?
Very few. I mean, over time, the variety, it's probably reached like 40 or 50, but at any given time, I've had no more than like 15. And I can probably look that up. I don't know how to follow up, but I could probably look that up because I'm sure Inventory Lab tells me the number of unique SKUs, like unique.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yes, for all those watching, the replay is available. We will be uploading this video this afternoon to YouTube and following up with you over Eventbrite, or if you registered on Zoom, over Zoom. Do you have someone take care of taxes for you, and do you do them quarterly with a 1099 from Amazon?
No, I do not do them quarterly. Amazon does issue a 1099 at the end of the year. Or is it called a 1099?
It's
Yes,
probably
they do.
send you some kind of tax
Yeah,
form.
but they do send, Amazon does send that paper where like how much you've gross sales you've had and whatnot over there. And but no, somebody does the taxes. It just at some point it gets so many things to put on your tax. It's complicated.
Yeah. Any tips for navigating Amazon's website algorithm so your items show up in searches? That sounds like a boot camp question.
Yeah, and we're not doing private, that's more like private label, like optimizing or trying to do anything. I don't do anything to the listings,
Yeah.
nothing, because I'm already, like I said, I find the items that are already selling often enough, which means they're already optimized. They're already, people are already finding them and buying them. They already have a history. So I don't have to do any marketing. I don't have to do any optimization, any ads, nothing like that.
How many items are you buying at once in a store? And can you explain what was going on in the months where your net profit was negative?
Oh, I will have to look at the picture. Oh yeah, there was, I see a month, August, right? Oh, it's interesting because I mentioned that on the other webinar we had, which is also recorded. But that month I decided to explore Inventory Lab. So I bought, and it should say there too in the expense category, but I bought a different software that cost me, and I tend to pay for the software for the full year because you get a better rate, and I don't mind paying for the full year. So I paid close to $1,000 just for Jungle Scout, which you can research it, but it's another software that is not needed for Amazon arbitrage, but is very helpful for private label. So I was getting into private label, and so I bought, and I deducted it. Again, it's business deductible, so anything I could, I've also deducted, which I've input in there, which would affect the profit. And it's crazy I didn't even mention it, but like if you stay at a hotel somewhere and you can make it business related, you can also deduct that, right? Like say I take a trip to Santa Cruz for the weekend and pay for 2 nights, but one of those days I go to a store to source, or I even buy some inventory there and bring it back and then prep it or ship it from there. Now that's a business trip. I just had some leisure time. But if I make it a business trip to Santa Cruz, I can deduct those business expenses. If I make it to New York and source there, or maybe do a shipment from New York, now that's a business trip as well. So all those things that I could deduct, just keep in mind, I did deduct, so it shows on my Inventory Lab. That it kind of makes the profit look worse than it should be. But even at that bottom tier, right, it was still 6,000. Did I answer? I forgot what was the question. Oh, and how many items? I've bought, more than 100 at a time sometimes. And yeah, you do get looks and you do get questions. I just say it just varies. I don't typically say I sell on Amazon, but I'll say I have a bakery or whatever I think at that time. It doesn't matter. It's strangers. I don't care telling them whatever first crosses my mind. Like, what do they care? Why are they asking me? I don't know. If you keep your head down and like focused, then typically you're fine. But you will get some looks if you're buying large quantities like me.
All right. So if you are interested after answering all the, oh, there's one more question. Do you store inventory that you buy for resale at your place or rent a location for storage?
Yeah, so I used to rent a storage when I started, because when I first moved out, I could only afford to rent a master room. So I was in a shared condo in Dublin, and I got my own private master room with private bathroom, and it was my little girl and me. I was pregnant, and I was not gonna put all that inventory up in a room, right, on a second level. So I did rent a storage room on like those, like the famous, the Easy Store, whatever it's called. There's so many companies for those, and it was a 5 by 10, I think I rented. But now I have my own 2-bedroom apartment, with between the promotion and also having now the side hustle established, right? So I can afford that. So now I'm in San Ramon, and I got my 2 little girls and live very differently. So I do not need a storage now. If you have
Yeah.
a garage, that's even better, super easy then with a garage. And you're not really storing it for long either. You're buying it, prepping it, and shipping it out. You have UPS pick it up. So you're not storing it for too long either. That's the hope. Why would you keep it for long, right? You have now the profits in your hand. Ship it out as soon as you can. Buy it, prep it as soon as you can, ship it out as soon as you can. And then does
Um,
Amazon handle sales tax? That I just see that one. Yes, they do. If you mean like the so like groceries don't have, at least here in California, we don't pay tax for groceries. But if there was like you sell a toy for $10 and tax is 10%, so the customer pays 11, Amazon takes care of that whole tax. You don't have to, like I did that account with the franchise tax board, whatever they're called. And it was for nothing because there was no tax for me to declare because Amazon handled all the tax. So yeah, that's also another neat thing.
can you deduct your rent or mortgage then as a business expense?
Oh, also great question. I don't know how it works with mortgage, if it's only like interest or principal or what, but for rent, if let's say I have a 2-bedroom and I only use one for my living arrangements, which I do, by the way, I co-sleep with my 2 little girls, they're so attached to me. But say this one is an office, this second room, and it's office solely dedicated for Amazon business. Please ask a tax accountant. Do not, come to me with your issues later on. But technically, yes, if you have a full room, then you would calculate the square footage and the money associated of rent to that square footage. That would be deductible. Again, a tax accountant can go in a lot more detail about it. But if you're like using it for like work from home some days for your W-2 job and Amazon some other days, then I don't know how that works. It gets a little bit more gray area. So that's why you do need a tax accountant. But yes, you should be able to tax some of it if you're running a business, right, from your home. Then some of that expense is business related. Same with the
Wonderful.
car, like all the mileage, track the mileage, because that's all deductible from your house to the store and back. That's
Awesome.
deductible as well.
Okay, well, I don't see any more additional questions. Thank you so much for staying a little bit extra to answer these questions. As you see, I've dropped the link in the chat here. So if you're interested in learning more, it'll be in the chat as well as in the video description when we upload it to YouTube. And so, as you know, we have a limited number of tickets since this boot camp is where it's at. So yeah, let us know if you have any questions. And we will be running a replay as well for this particular session this coming next Wednesday at noon. So yeah, as far as when we'll offer this boot camp another time, I have no idea. I'm doing some 2024 planning. I'm thinking that we may offer this again probably around the same time next year. And so, as you know, right, opportunities always present themselves at certain times of the year. And if we have it, then sure. And if we don't, fine. But also, in addition to that, I want to let you know that if you do purchase a ticket, we do record all of our sessions. So these sessions will be available to you after that. So that's a chance to sit in with Noemi here, ask her questions, get the clarification you need. And so if meeting at noon doesn't necessarily fit with your schedule, but this is something that you want to do, we do make that available too. So,
And you could send me to, like, if say you're somebody that I can only join half hour during that bootcamp, but I do have questions, just can't stay for the Q&A part. You could email those questions, right? Like when you watch it at your own time, you have your questions, you email them. And then during the next following class, I could clarify it so that it's recorded for you too when it's time for you to rewatch. So it's not like you would miss out on getting your questions clarified. We'll, of course, try to take care of everybody that is making that investment into the side hustle and wanting to learn. And that's why it's also quite long, right? Like 6 weeks, to allow the final class is more like review and questions and or practicing if there's not too many questions.
all right, wonderful. Well, have a wonderful rest of your Friday. We look forward to seeing you sign up, and we will send you the recording and those details later on today. So thank you so much, and we'll see you at a future Albert's List event. Thank you again, Noemi, and thank you everybody else.
Thank you, Albert. Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thanks.